Well, President Obama taking on not only health care reform, but another controversial issue, immigration reform. And a key meeting at the White House tomorrow could be the first step toward that reform and for some very big changes for every American worker. Senators Chuck Schumer and Lindsey Graham, bipartisan that is, set to sit down with President Obama tomorrow, discussing plans for a national identification card. Now, this thing is meant to crack down on illegal workers, but our next guest says it could crack down on you and your privacy. Congressman Ron Paul is a Texas Republican. He's opposed to this card. Congressman, afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Nice to be with you.
It's a great pleasure to have you. All right, so what's the problem with the national ID card? Because its proponents say this is it. This is the thing that's going to finally help us stop illegal immigrants from coming in here and taking jobs.
Well, we do have a problem with illegal immigration, but I would say the problems of every American citizen carrying their papers for wherever they go is a much worse problem than illegal immigration. Besides, you can take care of illegal immigration otherwise. But people over this decades now in this country, there have been some who have wanted this national ID card, and they're looking for every opportunity to do it. And this is it. I mean, who knows what will come of it. My guess is they'll probably have a GPS chip in there so that they can measure everybody, every instant, no matter where they go. So to me, it violates the whole principles of privacy, the principles of the Constitution, the principles of the Republic, and to me it's a gross distortion of what we should be doing. It's part of an authoritarian society, and dictatorships have this, but not a republic.
Okay, but tell me how it's invasive, because what Schumer and Graham are proposing, according to what I read, is your ID card would have either your fingerprint, your thumbprint on there, or it would have a reading of the veins in the back of your hand, and you'd have to be scanned by your prospective employer, and that way, if it came up that you weren't legal, they would catch you by the scan. How does that? I mean, it's not really GPS with the government following you. How does the scan of your fingerprint bother you?
Well, someday it may do this, but why should you have to do this? And they said, well, the equipment to scan your hand or your card is going to cost about $800. And they say, well, what about somebody who might only have 1 or 2 employees and they don't want to buy the equipment? Or you can go to a government office to do this. Can you imagine if the post office takes this up and you stand in line to take your potential employee over and try to get them scanned? I mean, the whole notion of us carrying our papers in everything that we do, every job we get, it will be a national identifying card. One thing that Graham, I think, argue, well, we already have Social Security cards.
Right.
Well, I have a Social Security card that says not to be used for identification purposes. That's what the original Social Security card said.
Well, but what about a driver's license? Virtually all of us have one of those.
Yeah, but I don't have to have a driver's license to get a job. You know, I didn't have to have it to come to Congress. I didn't have to show that.
Well, what about, Congressman, the people who are fired up about this, yes, they recognize it would result in somewhat of a loss of civil liberties, but they're very concerned about illegal immigration. And you say there are other ways of controlling it, but we're not doing it.
Well, that's a failure of enforcing our laws, and one of the problems that we have is that we have a failed economic system that makes immigrants a threat to individuals because of our weak economy. So if we had a decent economy, we'd probably be begging for people to come in and work, because there would be, and quite frankly, a couple of years ago, I had as many people come to my office looking for immigrants to come in to work as I did people screaming and hollering because we had too many.
What do you think?
We were short.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I would want to get your thoughts on this before I let you go. What do you think the government might do to us if we all had a national ID card?
Well, they would monitor everything that we do. And surveillance, the lack of privacy, it's always for good purposes. Everything is for good, and they're going to get rid of illegal immigration. They're going to find the criminals, but they're also going to monitor every single person, every single thing they do. It's sort of this idea of why not have cameras every place on every street corner, because we'll catch the bad guy. Well, why don't they have cameras in our house in case there's child beating or wife beating? I mean, that's when one thing leads to another. You either believe in freedom or you don't. If you think you need supervision and surveillance constantly by your government, and right now, the degree of confidence and trust in our government is very, very low. To turn this additional tool over to the government, to me, should outrage the American people, and so far the people I hear from are outraged.
So interesting to listen to your thoughts on that. The meeting happens tomorrow at the White House. The White House has taken no position on it thus far, but Graham's a Republican, Schumer's a Democrat. We'll see whether they get it through this time. Congressman Ron Paul, thank you so much for your thoughts on it.
Thank you.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it, away from the fog of the controversy.
The most important thing that has happened so far, the Supreme Court has upheld the individual mandate, essentially affirming that President Obama's health care law is indeed constitutional. And the Congress did not exceed its authority when it essentially ordered every American to buy health insurance.
What's up, guys? Now that Obamacare is passed, let's go and take a look and see what is in Obamacare. If you go to, and I'll put all the links in the box. If you go to H.R. 3962, this is a bill that was written back in 2009, October 29, 2009. If you go down to page, I think maybe 1501, this is the FDA administration. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, it talks about National Medical Device Registry. And if you read down, it talks about implementing and it talks about Class 3 medical devices, and that's like pacemakers and stuff. But this right here, it says, and this is a very open-ended bill. It means they can do whatever they want and have vague language. But it says, may include, as the Secretary determines, who is Obama's puppet, Pelosi, as she deems appropriate, and specifies in regulation a Class 2 device that is life-supporting or life-sustaining. What is a Class 2 device? Well, if you go to the FDA, a Class 2 Special Controls Guidance Document, implantable radio frequency transponder system for patent identification and health information. And if you go back here, it's all about data registry, medical device registry, health information, implantable. If you go over here to FDA, Class 2, implantable radio frequency transponder system for patient identification and health information for medical device registry. And also over here it talks about it, it goes through, talks about the Class 2, the device is intended to enable access to secure patient identification and corresponding health information in humans. Implantable. What are they talking about? They're talking about the microchip.
And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over.
And it goes back to, this is a very open-ended bill. And it says that the Secretary may include, if she determines appropriate, which she is Obama's puppet, a Class 2 device that is life-supporting. Now, they tried to pass a bill like this a couple of years ago, and I think the whistleblowers came out, so they came out and redacted part of a bill, and they've come out with this very vague one. Now, what was in the other bill? This was H.R. 3200. Same wording, a Class 2 device that is implantable. This was in their thing. Life-supporting, life-sustaining. The same thing is what they put here, but they've worded it vague. Class 2 device, they've taken out implantable, that is life-supporting and life-sustaining. Even though it's vague, it still means the same thing as a Class 2 device that is implantable. This was in their actual bill. And when you go back, what is implantable? It goes back to the chip. And I think one reason why they took the thing out of the bill and has made it vague is because a couple of years ago Ron Paul came out and he said buried deep within over 1,000 pages of this massive U.S. healthcare bill, in a non-discussed section titled C11, Section 2521. This is H.R. 3200, National Medical Device Registry, in which states its purpose as, he quotes that part of the law, and then goes on to say, in a real world speak, according to this report, this new law, when finally implemented, provides the framework for making the United States the first nation in the world to require each and every one of its citizens to have implanted in them a radio frequency identification microchip for the purpose of controlling who is or isn't allowed medical care in their country. They have been talking about the microchip for a while, and it's getting closer and closer to them wanting to implement it. And now that Obamacare has passed, they wanted to establish a national medical device registry, as the Secretary deems appropriate, a Class 2 device that is life-supporting. Class 2 device, implantable, Class 2 device. This is on like page 1505 or 1506 or 8, but the purpose of this is to collect data from the device, and it deals with claims data, patient survey data, and go down to electronic health records. But this right here, any other data deemed appropriate by the Secretary. What it means is, it starts out as medical. You get the chip put in your arm. It's a little computer. They can do whatever they want and program it to do different stuff. But this right here is a smoking gun. We only want, your data. That's all we want. Just your health records is all we want. And then bam, any other data deemed appropriate by the Secretary. What if that data is your bank account? Just something to think about. Any other data deemed appropriate by the Secretary. Then if you go over here, this is some more interesting wording. There's a lot. There's like over 1,500 pages or almost 2,000. But here's another one. Medical device surveillance efforts. That's just something to think about. Surveillance. I love that term. And they've already been deemed that these chips have GPSs in them. And all they want to do is hook you up to the network. That's all they want to do, is hook you up to the system, to the beast system. It starts out as medical, and then we know where it goes from here. And if you go over here, there's another one. Enable for real time. The determination of an individual's financial responsibility at the point of service. This is some crazy wording. You can figure out what you want to think about it, but enable the real-time information, the determination of an individual's financial responsibility at the point of service. And if you go over here, the effective date when this will be established, and it says no later than 36 months after the date of the enactment of this act. Now, I don't know much about bills and stuff, so this could either mean, I've seen a lot of people talk about March 2013. If you look at the beginning of this bill, it was October 2009, which would leave it October of 2012. Or it could be 36 months from the day it was passed, which would make it June 2015. I don't know, but it says that they have no later than 36 months to enact all this stuff.
What you do if your boss said you had to have a computer ID chip implanted under your skin or you'd be fired? Well, we're not there quite yet, but one Ohio company is doing something that has some people wondering if we're headed down that road. Here's technology correspondent Daniel Seberg with tonight's eye-opener.
There's my chip right there.
So you can actually see it.
It's about the size of a grain of rice, and it feels like it too. But what that tiny chip can and can't do has become the source of much concern and confusion.
I was in a grocery store, and a couple ladies said, "Hey, you're the guy with the chip in your arm, aren't you? Run across the scanner so we can see if it gets us a discount on groceries."
Sean Darks is the CEO of CityWatcher.com, a small company in Cincinnati that's the first U.S. business to use chip implants in its employees.
What you're looking at here is recorded footage back in August of a number of drug deals.
City Watcher provides video surveillance for clients and for the police. And the video that it collects, like this drug bust, is the company's biggest asset. And they say they need to keep it under more than just lock and key.
You might have one of these where you work, a key card that allows access to different parts of the office. A lot of businesses use them, but here at City Watcher, there's one particular room where you need either the implanted chip in your arm or a keychain. And Sean says the choice is up to the employee.
City Watcher employees Chuck Gordon and Kari Williams require access to the secure server room where the video is stored. One got the implant, and the other decided not to. He carries the chip in a keychain instead.
That's one of the reasons that I don't want to do it. It's creepy to have knowing that something is there the entire time.
But Chuck, you could get over that feeling?
Right now, I guess the big thing is Big Brother's to be watching you over this. Basically, the chip's dormant except unless you go in front of the access panel. And that's the only time it activates. So other than that, I really have no worries about it.
Chip implants have been common in pets for several years, giving the owner peace of mind that their lost animal could be identified. And for retail giant Walmart, the chips are used as smart barcodes to keep track of thousands of products. But for use in people, well, privacy advocates think we shouldn't open that door.
The concern is a privacy concern because when the chip is placed in you, it becomes a permanent form of identification. If it were a bracelet, for example, or an ID card, you might choose not to carry it or not to wear it, but if it's in your skin, you're pretty much stuck with it.
City Watcher employee Chuck Gordon was so stuck on the idea that he accompanied his wife Mary as she got the implant for medical reasons.
Just go ahead and lay down up here for a minute.
So doctors can pull up a record of her allergies in an emergency.
You're going to feel like a little stick and then a bee sting, okay? And that's going to numb the skin up for us, okay?
At this point, if you're squeamish about needles, it's best to turn away for a second.
No.
Getting an implant is not a pretty sight.
Like a tiny little incision here. Put the needle in. We pull the needle out, and we put a Band-Aid on her, and she's chipped.
The doctor will send the unique 16-digit number on Mary's chip to the chip maker for safekeeping. But critics question the security of the system.
It is the case that chips have been hacked. It's possible to duplicate them. It's possible to commit fraud with them. And those are also risks for people who are using this chip.
3 out of the 5 City Watcher employees who need access to the video room have opted to have the chip implanted. The other 2 carry their chips on a keychain. Either way, Sean Dark says his company's secrets are safe, and let the chips fall where they may.
Excuse me, sir. Forgot your receipt.
Checkout lines. Who needs them?
Have a nice day.
This is the future of e-business.
But some citizens are embracing the age of Big Brother. In Rotterdam, Holland, nightclub owner John Van Galen has introduced a system of microchipping for his VIP patrons. It's almost like barcoding people.
Yeah, it is, because every chip got a number, and the number corresponds to the name and the picture. That's the way it is, yeah, it is.
The microchip has to be surgically inserted under the skin, which means you'll have to have it cut out if you want it removed. Did it hurt getting the chip in? Okay, can I have a look?
Yeah, of course.
It feels like a little grain of rice.
It's a rice, yeah.
Irving has had the chip for the past 4 years. Every time he buys a drink, he's scanned. And, like a human ATM, money comes off his account. He don't feel like you're giving up a little bit of your privacy, do you?
No. Yeah. It's just nice to have. Like I say, I have a chip in my arm. I'm the first one in the whole world. I have a chip. And yeah.
Remember CCTV monitoring. Thank you.
Big Brother is here to stay.
To think something so small can connect you to everything that matters.
When your life and all you love
are on the line.
HealthLink is always with you when every second counts in the emergency room, providing immediate access to your medical records.
Because Bob has trouble remembering all his medications.
Because I'm in love with my kids' kids.
Because my car lost control while driving.
Because now I'm looking out for both of us.
Because I have diabetes, but it doesn't have me.
Because I spend my life in the ER trying to save yours.
Apologize, my camera is going to get a little shaky because I'm trying to hold it while I'm explaining what's going on. Currently, right now, we have 44 million Americans on food stamps. Change we can all believe in. And that number is growing consistently by the second, by the minute, by the hour, every single day. The economy is terrible. You guys know the dollar's going to die. This is why I'm coming to you today, though. Let me just break it down for you. You see, and I do apologize again for the shaky camera. I came across this. The Grocery Manufacturers of America, Food and Marketing Institute, and the National Association of Chain Drugstores have collaborated with the U.S. government for immediate release. This is a plan set up back in 2004, actually. Data synchronization, fundamental to RFID success, according to the latest GMA FMI NACDS report. This is just explaining, basically what they're about to do, their plans, and how they're going to eliminate the EBT system and the WIG and all that good stuff. But I know you guys are probably going to say, well, that's not enough proof. The document can say anything. And if you need to see the actual document, here's the link up top. Here's the link right here for you. You can just pause the tape and, find a link on your own, because I'm not going to put it in the YouTube thing. Yeah, I know I'm lazy. But check this out. The United States Department of Agriculture. These are the people who came up with EBT, WIC, and food stamps, along with the U.S. government. They collaborated with them and came up with this. Now, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Washington, D.C. Advisory Committee on Biotechnology and 21st Century Agriculture. This was in August of this year, a few months back. They're just explaining the plans. All you have to do is go to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's website, type in biometrics or RFID, and this stuff is going to pop up. Very easy. Very easy. But let's go to the next one. For example, see search results. United States Department of Agriculture search results. Biometric. Just hit the go button in all of the USDA. And the results were actually shocking because what came up was the year that the PDFs would pop up, the year they were made and modified. Now, I told you this was a plan back in 2004. The thing that made it very interesting is, look at that date. 2011, October 12th. Okay? Now look at what's attached to it. Use of biometric identification technology to reduce fraud in food stamp program. Basically, when you click on that, you're just going to be amazed. Amazed. So basically, it's time. They're going to destroy the program and bring on the chip. We are basically staring at Revelation 13 right here, today, November 3rd. We're staring at it. And then I came across this. United States Department of, Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Service. Voila. Introduction to biometric identification, technology, capabilities, and applications to the food stamp program. Nothing else to talk about. All you have to do is Google this stuff, and it will pop right up. Nothing else to talk about. Because I know you guys are probably like, well, his credibility is shot, or where is he getting this stuff from? It's right in your face. That's where I'm getting it from. This is directly from the horse's mouth. They're about to end the food stamps, the WIC, the EBT. If you're not a Christian, I suggest you come to the Lord Jesus Christ. Here we see again, HDMA teams up with, HDMA teams up with the NACDS to examine RFID. Now, HDMA means the Healthcare Distribution Management Association, and NACDS means the National Association of Chain Drug Stores.
VeriChip, subsidiary of publicly traded Applied Digital, has added Tommy Thompson to its board of directors. The company hoping the former Health and Human Services Secretary can help accelerate the use of RFID for healthcare and security applications. Joining us to discuss the future of RFID and his plans for VeriChip, Tommy Thompson, former Health and Human Services Secretary, and Scott Silverman, Chairman and CEO of Applied Digital. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be on your program.
Ms. Thompson, I'll start with you. We're doing a poll today. Would you have one of these things implanted in your arm, or, I don't know, under your scalp, or wherever you put it?
You put it in your right arm, and it's very small, and it doesn't bother you at all, but it certainly is going to allow you to identify who you are, protect your child. If you have a new child that's born in a nursery, you can protect that child from having somebody walk off with it. You can also protect your loved ones in a nursing home so that you can put a bracelet on and identify that individual and be able to find that individual if that person wanders away. But I certainly would, and I think it's a coming thing. And the problem is that medical technology is so far behind that RFIDs are going to really be the impetus in order for us to get new technology in the medical field that's going to help people improve their quality of care. And that's what it's all about.
And I'm sorry, sir, did you just say you would get one implanted in your arm?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay.
That's it.
No concerns? No concerns at all? Because I have to admit, it makes me a little queasy.
Now I know that. Does Carrie still have the RFID tag in her arm?
Dude, the RFID thing.
Yeah. Why did you not?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm not.
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened. I'm not sure how much of the story I'm allowed to tell, but I'll tell you what I know. We were going to do RFID, and on several levels, you know, how hackable, how reliable, how trackable, et cetera, et cetera. And one of our researchers called up Texas Instruments, and they arranged a conference call between, I think, Tori and the head producer over there for the other team, Linda Wolkovich, and one of the technicians at Texas Instruments. They were supposed to have a conference call to talk about the technology on like Tuesday at 10 a.m. And Tuesday at 10 a.m., Linda and Tori get on the phone, and Texas Instruments comes on, along with Chief Legal Counsel for American Express, Visa, Discover, and everybody else. I mean, and I got chills just as I described it. They were way, way outgunned, and they absolutely made it really clear to Discovery that they were not going to air this episode talking about how hackable this stuff was, and Discovery backed way down, being a large corporation who depends upon the revenue of the advertisers. And now it's on Discovery's radar. They won't let us go near it. So I'm sorry.
No.
We are. It's just one of those things. But man, that was a really. Story still gets a little white when he describes that phone conversation.
Well, you do have about 3,000 people in the room who aren't under such legal arrangements with producers. So.
So nice.
Okay. Well.
Y justo en la prevención del delito, la tecnología avanza a pasos agigantados. Hoy en día nuestra seguridad podría estar en manos de un dispositivo que apenas mide unos milímetros. Un diminuto chip podría salvarnos la vida. Todo comenzó con un avance de la ciencia, el microchip subcutáneo. En 2003, este pequeñito chip del tamaño de un grano de arroz surge, en principio para aportar información médica. Un año más tarde se convierte en una revolucionaria forma de transportar datos seguros y únicos, como si adentro de la piel trajera insertado un código de barras. Esto es como una pequeña antena.
Esto viene siendo una antena, un emisor.
No es como, es una antena.
Es una antena, un emisor, y lo que viene siendo enlazado directamente a otros dispositivos.
Es otro aparato que no vamos a revelar cómo es.
Exactamente.
¿Qué debemos extraerlo siempre junto a nosotros?
Siempre debe de estar junto, siempre, todo el tiempo. O sea, pues, obviamente está implantado, no hay ninguna forma de traer dos dispositivos separados, pero el otro es nos va a dar la oportunidad, inclusive, de dar un aviso cuando se está teniendo alguna emergencia.
Tal fue la revolución de este chip que en nuestro país funcionarios de alto nivel se lo implantaron para tener acceso a base de datos y centros de información restringida, como el propio ex procurador general de la República. Tras la noticia de que en Canadá un científico lograra clonar el microchip, surge el escándalo, la polémica y las preguntas. ¿Ese chip podía falsificarse? Entonces, ¿también alguien podría acceder al CISEN y robar información? ¿Qué probabilidades hay de que se clone un chip?
Prácticamente nulas. Sí, son códigos completamente irrepetibles e inalterables.
La idea de portar información crece y es más. Este pequeño aparato puede permitir la localización de personas vía satélite. En un lugar del país, en un punto no identificable, usted puede tener acceso a un sistema de seguridad en tan solo este nivel.
Generations storekeepers have been making change by taking bills and coins out of the cash register drawer. Now many experts say changing technology is nickel and diming old-fashioned cash out of existence. So is paper money a relic of a bygone era? Our cover story is reported by Lee Cowan.
It's what the wallet was invented for, to carry cash. After all, there was a time when we needed cash everywhere we went. From filling stations to payphones, even the tooth fairy dealt only in cash. But money isn't just physical anymore. It's not only the pennies in your piggy bank or that raggedy dollar bill. Money is also digital. It's zeros and ones stored in a computer, prompting some economists to predict the old-fashioned greenback may soon be a goner.
There will be a time, I don't know when, I can't give you the date, when physical money is just going to cease to exist.
Economists like Robert Reich say the demise of cash has been happening ever since our financial fortunes could first be told by a piece of plastic with a magnetic strip. That was half a century ago. And now?
95% of the transactions in America or more now have nothing to do with physical pieces of paper or coins.
Think about it. Taxis, parking meters, tolls, even Girl Scout cookies.
Did you know we do debit card now?
Don't require cash anymore. All proof, argue some, that cash's days are numbered.
22 and for 32 years from now, will cash still be here? I think we could put it in the grave already.
Author David Wolman, in his book The End of Money, argues the biggest knock against cash is that it's costly.
It's really expensive to move it, store it, secure it, inspect it, shred it, redesign it, resupply it, and around we go.
It already costs the U.S. government almost twice as much to make a penny and a nickel as they're actually worth. But that's only one cost. Cash, Wolman says, is also the currency of crime, bank robberies, drug deals, bribes. And there's something else.
It's just not particularly clean.
It's gross. I'm with you. I'm right there with you. It's pretty gross.
The filth factor alone, he says, should make cash a no-no in food establishments, like his neighborhood ice cream shop, Salt and Straw, in Portland, Oregon.
So that is 1 pint. It's $8.
Okay. Owner Kim Malik isn't about to turn cash down. Not yet, anyway. But she's happier when people pay with their smartphones instead.
Makes paying fun, which you don't hear very often.
She's using a new app called Pay with Square, essentially a digital wallet that's now accepted at some 75,000 locations nationwide, from ice cream shops to barber shops. All you do is register, and you create a virtual tab right on your phone. So when it comes time to pay, you don't pull out your wallet or your credit card. You don't even have to pull out the phone. Instead, a photo pops up on the register, and the money is seamlessly deducted from an account of your choosing.
It's going to recognize you before we even walk in.
Jared Fleisler uses Pay with Square all the time. He works for Square, the company that first turned your smartphone or your tablet into a credit card reader. But all this easy money flying through the cloud has some a little leery about security. But Fleisler says the protections built into the system are actually far better than cash.
All the receipts are sent digitally to you, directly in your app. You don't really have to worry about signing, and they can verify you by face and by name on the screen, so you don't have to worry about your ID.
And it's not just Square. Everyone from Apple to Google to Visa, even most major banks, are looking to change the way we spend. PayPal, for one, believes its digital wallet technology can be the future of shopping. No wallet, no cash, just a mobile device with an app that combines all your credit and checking accounts along with coupons and other offers.
The real innovators in this area have to prove to us that this is really life-changing and that it's not just kind of cool to pay for something with your mobile phone.
Lost in all this, of course, are the poor, with no access to smartphones or fancy tablets. And there are those who depend on cash. Waiters, parking valets, skycaps, and babysitters, none of whom is anxious to see cash
Thank you very much.
disappear.
Do we lose a little of the nostalgia of having actual money in our wallet and coins in our pockets?
We do lose something when it's all digital. It's a loss of a lot of icons, a lot of symbols about who we are, how we're doing, and what we value things for.
Can you just put on Jared?
But that mobile money train has already left the station. Most agree cashless is not only inevitable, for most of us, it's already here.
The future of surveillance is hiding in plain sight at the Baja Beach Club in Rotterdam, Holland. This may look like a regular party, but it's no normal club. The Baja has an elite group of special VIPs who are different from other clients. They need no identification and no cash to buy drinks or food. To enter the club, all they have to do is offer up an arm to a scanner. And tonight, 21-year-old Ryoni Schutten will be joining the in crowd.
I just do it because it's more comfortable. They will bring you the drinks and food instead of you going to the bar to get it.
But before he can party, Ryoni has a doctor's appointment. He's getting an electronic chip implanted in his arm. It's called radio frequency identification. An RFID chip is a small device that transmits a radio signal that's read by a scanner. In 2003, the Attorney General of Mexico and some of his staff received RFID implants inside their bodies to allow them access to sensitive areas. While it's not yet commonplace, Ryoni's doctor has implanted nearly 100 chips.
At first I had some doubt, of course, because you are putting chips in healthy young people. But I think it's the future.
Each tiny chip has a number. A scanner connected to a database can instantly reveal who the person is and much more. Technically, there's no limit to the information the database can hold.
This is the needle with which I'm gonna implant the chip.
The chip itself is a little larger than a grain of rice. It will remain inside Ryoni's body for the rest of his life, or until he undergoes surgery to have it removed. Ryoni will need an anesthetic before the procedure. The chip is implanted just millimeters below the skin. If it goes in too close to the muscle could be damaged, and Ryoni will feel the chip when he moves. If all goes well, he won't even know it's there. The procedure is over in seconds. And now, it's time to party. Although others have to pay cash at the entrance, when Ryoni arrives, his name and number instantly identify him as a VIP member of the club. He makes his way to the VIP deck and uses his implant to buy a drink. The Baja is a glimpse of a not-so-distant future. Already, some people have chips with critical health information. Some think that soon everyone will have a chip that will identify them and allow a new form of surveillance. Joe Von Galen manages the club and likes to keep an eye on everyone, especially his chipped VIPs.
I think that in 20 years it will be a normal thing. I think when you get born you get a chip, and it will stay in your body for the rest of your life, and you get all kind of information on it. So if you got a problem, you read the chip and then they know who you are.
Implanted ID chips may be just the beginning. Future chips could be coupled with GPS tracking technology, making it possible to locate anyone, anytime, anywhere. Parents and pet owners are already using external GPS units to keep track of their loved ones. In the U.S., approximately 7,500 criminals are monitored by GPS. And these devices are only getting smaller. Although GPS implants aren't currently available, it might be only a matter of time before before every criminal, perhaps even every citizen, has an ID chip. Once the stuff of science fiction, these surveillance technologies are becoming reality. But the more amazing they get, the more controversies they create. In the name of security, societies around the world are struggling to redraw the line between surveillance and privacy.
The bill before me will help law enforcement to identify, to dismantle, to disrupt, and to punish terrorists before they strike.
Just months after the 9/11 attacks, President Bush secretly ordered the government to listen in on some Americans' phone calls without getting warrants. Technically, snooping on communications is not difficult. Almost every phone call, fax, and email passes through a network of towers and satellites. This digital data can be intercepted with listening dishes or by using spy satellites. The U.S. alone has more than 30,000 eavesdroppers scattered around the world, working with at least 100 spy satellites. Every 3 minutes, they collect enough information to fill the Library of Congress. Governments tell us these technologies make us safer. But where is it all leading? More than ever, authorities say we need surveillance in a dangerous and wired world. Even 500,000 cameras couldn't stop the London bombings. New technologies like ID implants, iris scans, and facial recognition have the power to reveal anyone who has committed a crime or crossed a border illegally. But they also have the power to invade our privacy. In the future world of total surveillance, there may be nowhere to hide.
This is the microchip that could one day be implanted under the skin of every single American.
We have a Florida family who are really pioneers in a brave new world. They have volunteered to be the first ever to have microchip identification devices implanted into their body.
After 9/11, I was really concerned with the security of my family.
Top CFR Lieutenant Diane Sawyer for 8 minutes sat there in a sickening fashion with this poor, pathetic family as they discussed how they were all taking microchips because they believed in America and wanted to stop the terrorist. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something out of a science fiction horror movie. They're taking chips because they stand with the mother government. I'm living in Nazi Germany twilight zone. Now politicians are announcing that they want to get chipped.
Something has to change, though. They have to find a better way to identify the bad guys, or the rest of us are going to stay home and watch the world go by on televisions. But we need some system for permanently identifying safe people. Most of us are never going to blow anything up, and there's got to be something better than one of these photo IDs, a tattoo somewhere maybe. The Saudis used an American device to scan the eyes of travelers. I wouldn't mind having something planted permanently in my arm that would identify me. If we don't do something, people are going to stop flying. If they stop flying, and I don't go to the Giants games, it means the bastards have won.
Yeah, we're not going to let you win, buddy. We saw what you just implied. We're with Al-Qaeda if we don't take the microchip.
Do you know how to keep your children safe? We'll tell you tonight.
In the next year, you'll be able to use your teen's cell phone to locate them 24/7. Younger children will get a small global positioning device hidden in their wristwatch or backpack. And just around the next high-tech corner, an electronic chip like this that can be implanted under your kid's skin. Let's say children in your community start wearing wristwatches with GPS devices in them. Can't that only be a good thing for the community if it keeps children safe?
I would love that. I mean, what's a parent's fear?
I think it's a parent's obligation to ensure that their children have a chance to mature, to grow, to realize their potential. And if it means it's Big Brother, so be it.
You got to do what you got to do to keep your kids safe. Civil libertarians, eat your hearts out.
Civil libertarians, eat your hearts out.
Applied digital solutions could track human beings by satellite. All right, we got the Van Dams, we got this little girl Elizabeth Smart, we got this girl in Pennsylvania, we got Samantha Runyon, we got this other little girl, one after another, after another, after another, after another. And parents around America saying, we can't even allow our kids to play in the front yard. Is there anything, technologically speaking, that they can do that could help in a situation like a kidnapping? Is there, for example, a microchip, a watch, a tracking device we can use for our kids?
We are working on a product that we have called internally a PLD. PLD stands for Personal Locating Device, which is an implantable GPS for which our company owns a patent and can be implanted surgically in the clavicle area of a child or someone that you are interested in tracking. It is the first implantable microchip for humans that has multiple security, financial, and healthcare applications.
One thing I would just suggest, I'm just an outside, soon-to-be investor. I love this idea, by the way, Scott. I think this is great.
Thank you, Sean.
Put it in earrings, put it in a cross, make it smaller, maybe not implantable, and I think let parents choose. It's not the government, so I like it. But
we're currently working on those applications.
Good.
I hear music, so thank you for having me.
Give me a cut, Scott. No, I'm kidding. all the best. Thank you.
Thank
I think
you.
it's a great product. I really do.
Fort Worth Star Telegram. Fearful parents turn to privacy devices. Gets into the microchips. This report comes from the Air Force website. It was also on the Federation of American Scientists. They explain how they're going to get you to accept implantable microchips. It says the PR implications, how they're going to use the media to condition the public to take microchips. This was from January of 2000. Rental car companies may be tracking you via GPS. And now they've admitted that most new cars have satellite tracker boxes already in them. They've started taxing people in England with the satellite tracker boxes. And I've read the federal documents where they plan to start taxing and tracking us with satellite tracking boxes in our cars here as well. And in Los Angeles and north of L.A., they're going to make you carry a transponder tracker. That was in the New York Times. I mean, this is getting too out of control. College seeks security in thumbs. Colleges, to buy and sell, to get their lunches, to get into their libraries, got a thumb scan. Again, training of generations. They're doing this with the junior high and middle school and elementary school kids. They're making them thumb scan to get their lunches, training them for the cashless society. No cash allowed, getting them into the control grid.
You're getting scanned. It's not just children getting brainwashed on cartoons. It's everywhere. This is the prison grid, turning the whole world into a cashless control system. I have read the federal documents, the total plan to force us into these compact cities. You absolutely must resist the thumb scans, the face scans, the retina scans, cameras that can recognize you and scan your face against a billion faces in a single second. Everything, no food, no water, no houses, no jobs, no nothing without it. They're actually announcing it. They're going to put it in place, and you are the terrorist. You've already heard them say it. Gun owners, Christians, conservatives, libertarians, liberals, anybody that doesn't go along with global New World Order tyranny will be watched, will be controlled, will be tracked. The New World Order gang has a reason they want to control you.
Yeah, never made a delivery to your home before.
I'm taking some personal days off, Ed.
Usually I gotta track you down in some toxic vortex, a cosmic battlefield. Retinal scan okay?
Ouch! What's that for?
DNA sample, new policy. A lot of evil hologramic activity going on lately.
The implant microchip will store data information such as fingerprint, footprint, eye scan, DNA genotype, financial status, and personal history. No one will be able to buy or sell without it. One will identify the individual with the mark. Oh yes, the ID card will also be coded with numbers. And the number is
600 threescore and 6. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 threescore and 6.